Amber.
Hello, why are you sideways?
Okay, there we go, because my phone was sideways.
Hi, Antonio.
How you doing, Laurie?
I'm awesome. Let me turn your volume up here a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe
I hear you.
maximum since you're on a phone.
Can you hear me pretty good or no?
Let me get some volume on my headphones. Hold on.
How are we doing? Testing.
Okay, hold on. We got two different broadcasts going on here.
Yeah, usually one pops up right after the.
Okay, now are we better?
Well, I hear you loud and clear. I don't have any problems at all. Can you hear me?
Where's everybody else? Is there anybody not joining us?
They were chatting right now. I guess they just finished watching that link, but they should be coming shortly.
The link.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of background noise. I don't know why.
How about now?
Much better.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just had a speaker facing towards my. I got it connected to a.
Yeah, you're like way better now. Okay. So hi. Ashley is joining us in a few. She has 6 or 8, 10, 12 children. I'm not really sure. I've lost count. That she has to feed and get out the door before 5-ish or around then. So, so she'll be with us, and all the rest of the folk. Hopefully, everybody got their link, because it always seems like I have to do it 5 times. I'm not really sure why. So, tell me what you've been up to today.
Oh, just doing some personal errands, and just got back about a couple hours ago and got onto the groups and saw some videos and did a little chatting here and there.
Good.
So yeah, I think that a lot of the stuff that's put out is pretty obvious and you can just see right through it, but it's just desperation is kicking in. It seems like they are going down.
Well, I mean, it's an exciting time, right? I mean, the flat Earth is kicking up. I mean, even just compared to a few months ago, when if you posted something on your own personal wall and not inside of a group, you were like, "Whoa, here they come!" I've been in a plane. I've seen the curvature from a plane. What's the matter with you? Are you an idiot? And so, people are getting a lot more bold and starting to post some truth about flat Earth, and not quite getting as violent a pushback as it was a few months ago even. So, but at the same time, when you're doing something as earth-shaking important as this is, the government, the shills, the trolls, the agents, the matrix, everything starts working against you. And that means you're on the right track as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we struck some nerves, and obviously, I mean, anytime somebody gets offended over a belief or a thought or a view, or just what anybody is free to think, it kind of questions everything. Why would somebody get so annoyed? Why would somebody bring so much aggression if it's like they say, the truth hurts?
Yeah, the truth does hurt. So, you know, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, well, we're tearing down some pretty serious walls, and we're tearing up some turf. We're
Yeah.
I posted a picture a few weeks ago of a steamroller flattening out the earth. Did you see that on my wall? On
Yes, yes.
my cover photo? That's pretty much what's happening. I mean, we're plowing down the ball and smashing it out, taking the air out of it. So,
yeah, it's just so crazy how they came up with that, you know, and duped everybody. Just duped us all into thinking that we live on a ball like the Little Prince.
yeah, well, you have to hold on. Poor Daryl can't find his link. Gmail. Okay. Here he comes, I guess. So, yeah, on top of that, you know, there's a lot of factions of just people, right? I mean, just people in general have all kinds of thoughts and beliefs and history and culture and backgrounds and education and all that. So to try to lump everybody into one kind of awakening is it's pretty edgy. It's pretty
I mean,
it's disturbing.
Well, I mean, they did that already. They lumped us all into a globe, you know. They did this. That's like the biggest, the mother of all of them, you know. I mean, and it took them 500 years until we figured it out again, you know, because for 500 years they started indoctrinating it and painting it, did the globes in the classrooms, and you know, like Matt said, you know, they needed that mission to the moon to be able to take that picture and finally seal the deal. And we were thinking that was the only, you know, hey, that happened, so it must be it. You know, look at that round, beautiful Earth. And then comes Neil deGrasse saying, no, it can't be round. It's oblate or perish or whatever. They keep changing. So obviously they're debunking their own. Yeah, they're debunking their own stuff. You know, so if they took all of those pictures, obviously those pictures or photos or whatever are not true because they're oblate. So something's off.
Yeah, something's off. Well, okay, so also think about this. In my entire lifetime, I'm not going to say how old I am because it's nobody's business, but old enough to remember that all the way growing up, I had a TV in front of my face. I had movies. Oh, for crying out loud, Daryl, come on. So sorry. The you know, the movies, pop culture, music, distraction, sports, Dancing with the Stars, Hollywood, Opie and Andy and Mayberry, and you name it, all the way through. We've had plenty of distractions, plenty of entertainment, plenty of news. Here's the news, and let us tell you what's going on in the news, and then let's tell you what you're supposed to think about what we're telling you. So I believe they call those political pundits or whatever. So it's just been one distraction feeding. We're feeding you everything you're supposed to know, think, believe. And so all of a sudden, when a group of people go, well, I'm sorry, I'm not hooked in anymore. I'm not watching TV. I'm not a pop culture person. I'm not into sports, boxing maybe, but you know, that's not on all the time. And so we've broken away from the constant distractions. And so once that happens, what happens? You start looking around, just randomly going, hey, so what else is going on?
Using your senses. Yeah, you start using your touch, your feel, your smell, your eyes, your sound. You just start using your God-given senses and
your heart, your emotions.
Yeah, I mean, for so long they just hypnotized.
Your intuition that you're not supposed to have anymore. They're trying to bleed that intuition out of you with fluoride and antidepressants and football,
food, and yes, all of that.
So
game.
So here we are. You and I have had several hangouts and discussions and have become friends on Facebook. Wouldn't have met each other otherwise. I'm almost positive of that. We've made lots of other friends. We've become sort of really integrated in the Flat Earth movement community. You can interchange those words, by the way. One isn't able to be separated from the other, because just like in any community of a town, a people, a county, a state, a country, there's always going to be those who find people with common interests and common goals and common cultural beliefs, religious beliefs, whatever. So this one issue has sort of culminated in a community in and of itself. And so we all found each other on Facebook groups or pages or on the YouTube videos in the comment section. So there's a whole huge bunch of people now. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say millions. I mean, I truly believe, used to say globally, but now I'm just going to say, on the earth, there's obviously got to be millions of people that are in this search now for more information, for more proof, questioning everything about their global existence and rechecking their facts. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I am seeing this every day. I see people coming in from Australia. I see people coming in from Thailand, from Asia, from Europe, all over the place, Brazil. So, I mean, obviously this is spreading, and they're taking it back and they're talking about it. And it's just growing by the hour. It's incredible. It's incredible to see that people are really realizing that, this is the one thing. This is our home. Earth is our home, and the shape is something that is in question now. Why would they do that? What is the whole purpose? I mean, globalization, obviously, it's like the final clamp down on us. I mean.
Well, here's another interesting thing that I find. For thousands and thousands and thousands of years, people believed all over the place that the earth was just the earth. It was just flat. It was just what we stand on. It's just what we build our houses on, and what we take our, oxen and hoe the ground on and grow our food on, and maybe go up a mountain or two or down into a valley or two. But at the end of the day, or sail a ship on. But at the end of the day, it's just was known as the earth. And there was not really a question about the shape of it, just what it was. So then, people started sort of throwing little theories out there. Well, maybe it's not just a flat plane. Maybe it's something else. So, but somebody specifically started an idea that it was a ball. And then people said, well, if it's a ball, what holds people on the bottom on there? Okay, well, now we have to come up with a theory about how those people are being held on there. Hey, so what if it's spinning? Well, spinning would just mean that if you spun it, they would all go flying off into nowhere, somewhere. Okay, well, let's add gravity. How about that? Oh, okay, that makes it work better. Okay. and they just kept adding things to support the ball. And what that is known as is ad hoc, meaning of the moment, ad hoc reverse engineered theories. That's what they are. In other words,
Yes.
I have an idea. Now I got to dream up a bunch of stuff that makes it work, right?
Exactly. And that becomes real science after a while. You know, they believe that that's reality. And
well, I mean, if you get somebody really, really smart, or looks really smart, or sounds really smart, okay, some technocrat who can take a big rock and write on a bigger rock some big formula with pi and circles and dividing lines and X's and O's and the whole, like, pages of it, okay? And then everybody's going, oh, yeah, that looks right to me. They don't have a freaking idea if that's right or not, most of them. Or, on the other hand, you can make a formula that supports your theory. That's also considered science, right?
Well, that's basically how
testing it.
Yeah, Copernicus's hypothesis of the Earth or the globe was basically that, just a hypothesis, and even he himself said that it wouldn't work. You know, that it was like you're saying, that the calculations have to fit the theory. And if anybody really believes in astronomy, they would believe in a greater fool. And those were his words. You know, he was saying that, no, this is all jive stuff. So they needed Newton to come back it up, and they needed all these other guys, Galileo and so on and so forth. Until we get to now the Hubble. You know, but I mean, I think if they they have this Hubble.
Let's also remember the Queen.
Take a picture.
Let's remember the Queen supported the ball.
Well, she's one of the first ones.
The Catholic Church, Rome, the Vatican embraced the ball sooner or later. Okay, so once everybody starts falling into line like little soldiers, then so now you got a ball. Okay, and then you just got a ball, and you got a ball, and you got a ball, and years go by, and then more generations are born, like tons of them. And then the next thing you know, enough generations have gone by that now they can start to say that, oh, that was way long time ago when people thought the world was flat. Those were like the goat herders on some hill in Greece that, were stupid, that had no education. But here's what I find interesting about all that. Instead of somebody coming up with a new theory that the Earth is something else completely, a box, a square, a spaceship, that little dangly thing around the cat's neck, Orion's belt on Men in Black, right? They haven't come up with a new theory. They're just bringing back the old theory that got hijacked way back long time ago and put in a box and put in a little room somewhere in under lock and key. And like in M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, it's that we don't speak of. Okay,
Pretty much.
Can't speak of flat Earth because then you're a ding dong, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is such a good comparison, especially like they had that whole village thinking that once you go past that barrier, you're dead. There's a
the boogeymen are going to get you. Those red outfitted creatures with the thing that the points and spikes and the boogeyman, and so who was the boogeyman? Who was the girl that went out into the woods? Okay, it was a blind girl. Now, if you think about that show, okay, it wasn't somebody with all of their faculties who would be scared because the boogeyman would jump out from behind a tree and go, rah! Okay. It was a blind girl who was just following her other senses, her intuition, and she had the courage based on she wanted to, get medicine for her boyfriend, that she decided she was going to be courageous enough to make the voyage regardless. Well, that's kind of how I feel about you, and that's kind of how I feel about me and everybody else that's in the flat earth community, is that we're deciding that, you know, enough is enough. These things don't add up. This NASA garbage, this fake picture from space, these terrible animations from the International Space Station, and on and on. So we question it and we say, you know, there's something about that. This don't look right. You know, it's kind of like, where's Waldo here? It's, you know, I can't find Waldo, and Waldo is the stars, the photo that's never been taken looking away from Earth. Never been a photo from out there taken. Turn around, just turn around once and look out there and show us what you see. No, it's always where fake lights and zooming around in some orbit that doesn't exist. All right, somebody's messing me. So let's see. Daryl says he's in, but he's not in. So where is he? All right. We'll just carry on until his little
join.
Huh?
He's probably overlooking the join button. Because when it's kind of hard at first, I couldn't see it, and until I asked you to resend it, and then you got to follow this little path.
All right, let me try to
resend it to all of them.
Let me send it again, because whatever's not working too good. Says he's in, but he's not really in. You know, I like this whole like hangout feature thing, but
well, it's new for me. I'm just
a great
figuring it out.
Yeah, it's a great tool, but it's got plenty of little idiosyncrasies about it. Trust me, I've done this so many times now, and one time you can't hear, and the next time somebody comes on and they're upside down, and you know, it's like there's bugs in it.
It's okay. Just try to get them in and send that link out, and I'm sure they'll make it.
Yeah, I just sent it to them again. We'll see. Sometimes the smarter you are, the less intuitive the things are. You know, I'm just not that kind of smart. I'm a different kind of smart than the other people.
Right.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but. You know,
I'm learning on the fly, you know.
For crying out loud, but boy, I can push the buttons. But anyway, so so here's all these people questioning, and they're just coming in these waves. You know, every month there's another, seems like 100,000 more people who just a few months ago heard about the flat earth, and then they were like, yeah, right, whatever, you know, I'm not going there. I want to still be invited to Easter dinner or whatever, and I can't alienate my family for being kooky, because I already got weird on him about 9/11 or the moon hoax or one of the other conspiracy theories, and so everybody's just automatically lumping this in with a conspiracy theory. And you know, I made my groups called Flat Earth Conspiracy on purpose, because it's not a conspiracy. There he is.
Hi, Daryl.
There's Daryl. You got your mic on, Daryl?
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I need you to turn your volume up a little. Can you?
Well, I'm using a new mic, and
oh, I hear you good.
Oh, you sound like Max Headroom. I love that. I think we need some more bandwidth for you or something. Okay, try again. Talk.
Hello.
Hello. That's good.
I'm going to try a different mic. How's this?
That one's good.
That's good.
Really good, right there.
Okay.
So this is Daryl Foss, and he's joining us now what you been working on today, Daryl?
Not a lot. I just like woke up and ate food and I get up and get on Facebook and deal with bullshit for like an hour or two, or like an hour. You know, like I wake up, I got all these
It's the
problems.
life of an admin in a Flat Earth Facebook group, isn't it?
Right. I got all these problems. Everybody's like, "Hey, can you ban this guy?" And then I go to that YouTube video with Stinky Cash on there and Justin Dahl's on there saying that Matt Boylan is a Zionist Zionist shill. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's at the end of the day, all these name callings and everything. That's part of what this whole hangout's going to be about, and we're going to sort of agree to draw some lines here and to have some consensus about a couple of things. One of those things, in my mind, is what we were just talking about, and that is everybody that seems to be in the Flat Earth movement comes from somewhere. You know, they either have been a conspiracy theorist, or they in some other area like 9/11 Truth or something, or they, you know, spent the last year bashing this or bashing that, or trying to tear down the Federal Reserve, or, you know, every kind of thing, and they're bringing all of that baggage to the Flat Earth community and the Flat Earth movement, and they're walking in the room and they're just all laying all their baggage all over the living room, and you're tripping over each other and nobody can talk because everybody's got their bags, and it's just become a ridiculous circus of issues that are completely outside of the specific and focus of Flat Earth. Would you agree with that? That's part of all these problems?
Yeah. Also, we got Michael Stars or Souls. He wants to join in. I'll get his Gmail for you.
All right, you'll have to send me that.
Yeah, the whole thing is this is for everybody. I mean, when we start talking about Flat Earth, it should be about Flat Earth. I mean, you know, there's a topic that, you know, that all you know, everybody wants to bring in and talk about it, and that's cool and all, but there's a certain page for that, and those, I see those as distractions, and for some reason, just people want to take their little distractions and concentrate on that instead of doing the research and keep going with the Flat Earth. And once we get on the Flat Earth topics, it gets really exciting. It gets really, I mean, we start discovering, we start working on things. Like the other day we were working on Antarctica, you know. A few guys were talking about the Antarctic winter, and we're trying to figure out how does that work. So, I mean, when we get involved in those kind of discussions, it's fun, it's exciting. But, you know, once you start getting in with the emotional buttons, getting on the hate or whatever it is, you know what? I mean, that's just a distraction in itself. And we need to stay on focus, because obviously this thing has gotten so big that it's like we're saying, we're knocking walls down that's affecting nations and the way the world is viewed. So obviously, this is getting back to the desk of Obama. Is getting back to the desk of all the world leaders. They know what's up. They know what's going on, and you know they're going to do whatever it takes to keep their little image of the globe going, because that's what they've been working on for 500 years.
That's one of the things that these agencies, that's one of the things that these agencies, these black ops agencies that work within the governments, the nation states, that's one of the things that they focus on, is keeping people pitted against each other and divided. So the more divided everyone is, the less we fight them, and the less we focus on them, the controllers of the specific and focus.
What's up?
Would you all these problems? You need to hold on, everybody. You need to mute your YouTube.
Michael Stars or Souls.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, my brother?
Hey,
What's
Hey,
up?
Mike. Send me that.
Hey, you know,
Mike.
yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Okay. You need to mute your YouTube that you're listening to in the background. We can hear it.
Got it.
I mean, you know, there's a topic that that all everybody wants to bring in and talk about it, and that's cool and all, but there's a certain page for that, and those
Mike.
Yeah.
We're listening to a feedback of your listening to a delayed cast.
on that instead
So
of
you need
I can't hear you.
volume off.
Close the window.
My TV's not on.
flat Earth topics. It gets really
Turn it off.
It's not
No,
on.
Wait, hey, everybody listen. We are listening to your version of it on YouTube and it's delayed. Okay? Can you get that?
Oh, okay, got it.
There we go. Okay. See, I know about how to push buttons, huh? What you think about me now? Anyway, welcome. Let's give you the floor for a few minutes. What do you want to talk about? What's up?
Well, this is really your guys' show. I just wanted to join in, but I can't see anything.
You can't see anything. Okay,
No.
hold on.
we can see you.
We see you fine.
Hold on, can you send the hangout again?
Yeah, let me send it to you again.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm gonna go to my email.
Okay.
Lori, are you recording?
Yes, I am. Yes, this is recording in real time. The live version of this is people are watching it on YouTube right now. If they're on that link, and then it will cache and archive and replay itself after the show is completed to anyone who wants to watch it later. So we're all on live, and we're also being recorded live. Okay. So whatever you say, this is it, buddy. But again, until Stars comes back again, what I was hoping that we could all agree on as admins of different groups and as people who are working very hard to bring the flat Earth truth to mainstream, to where normal everyday people will get it, right?
There we go.
There you are.
There we go.
Okay, here comes, looks like Simon.
Thomas.
Oh, it's Thomas. Hi, Thomas. Thomas is not hearing us. Stars.
Yeah.
Let Thomas figure it out. He'll figure out what button to push. He's a smart guy. Okay, so what we've been talking about here is we've been talking about that all this other baggage that all of us as humans bring with us everywhere we seem to go is all being brought into the Flat Earth movement and community.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is just to sort of be a voice of reason here, and a voice of hope, and a voice of positivity to, hopefully get everyone out there who isn't just some psycho hater anyway, to try to put it together that all of this baggage, and we all know what this baggage is. It's our cultures, it's our religions, it's our history,
right?
All that stuff. And we're trying to say, focus on Flat Earth.
Right.
All right, so you got an edit going. So I want you to go on YouTube, and I want you to mute the channel you're listening to.
Who, me?
Yes, you start.
I'm not on YouTube right now.
It must be Thomas.
Thomas.
He's the new guy.
Yeah, I'm not on YouTube.
Jason. Thomas, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, are you getting feedback?
No, it
Not no
doesn't
more.
seem to be now. Okay, so something happened to Stars again. I'm not really sure what, but he'll probably be back. Hi from the mainland to Hawaii.
Aloha. Hey, everybody.
Aloha.
Mahalo.
It's only noon where you are. It's 6.
It's only noon here. The sun is right over my head, right above me.
Well, it's way to the west for me because it's 6:30.
Where is it for you?
Here.
Is it feeling like 1/5 of the sky? Is it like 100 times the size of the Earth? Maybe it's like 90 billion miles away. Oh, I mean million or billion? Million.
It's a few thousand if it's anything, right?
Because, you know, once you hit millions of miles away, you might as well just go in the 90s and just get 90 million. Right? There's nothing in between the sky that we're in and the sunlight that tans our skin, right? Sort of can. And like how is that void there? How is this giant void between us in the sky and the sun right above me that you guys see, but there's this giant void? That was the kicker for me, where it's just like, all right, a cartoon, you know, like that's like it's even hard to swallow that it was on a cartoon. It just sounds so ridiculously fake.
Okay, so Mr. Science Guy, what were hey, Stars, I can clearly see the top of your hat.
Oh, okay.
Can you adjust so we can see your smiling face? There you are. I see you.
Well, here's the thing. You guys are probably wondering why I have the shades on and everything.
We know why.
No. It's not because of the government. I'm afraid. I'm worried about some religious fanatic. Okay. First of all, what's going on with this screen here? Are you guys getting like a little bit of lag or something?
No, only from you.
Okay. Yeah, it's the religious fanatics. I'm a little bit like, you know, I like remaining incognito.
Okay, all right, well.
I mean, when you guys see me
that's part of the issue that we're trying to get a grasp on here, okay?
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to express, beyond any doubt, that the flat earth community is made up of every... Boy, echo. I'm going to mute the mic for a second.
Yeah, mute me, because it might be me. Is it me?
No, it's not you.
Yeah, it is him.
Me?
Yours are too loud.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so here we go. Let me try this again.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to bring all of us together who are, you know, not really in control of anything, not leading anything, not, you know, doing anything but except trying to move the movement forward in the community and keep people happy and keep people learning and educating themselves and doing experiments and talking to their friends about flat Earth, not about flat Earth and this bag of baggage, and not about flat Earth and this bag of baggage, because all this other baggage is confusing everybody. And so when new people come into the movement, and they're coming in by the day, by the droves, if the first thing they see and hear is arguments and finger pointing and shillspicious this and that and agents and religious movements and 9/11 was an inside, all of that stuff, okay? It's a standalone issue. And that's what I'm trying to get all of us to agree on. And I'm not trying to do it. I just think it needs to be done. I'm not trying to enforce anything. I'm not trying to make any rules. I'm just trying to be sort of a voice of reason from having been doing this for a long time now and running these groups. And all of you are running groups. And you know that the first signal, that first sign of somebody saying, blah, blah, blah. Well, it says in chapter 4, verse 6 of Hebrews, and then it's like, oh, here it goes, you know. Or someone says, no, there weren't any planes on 9/11. And then it's, oh, here it goes, okay. So what we're trying to do, what I'm hoping we can do is get people to listen to what we're saying here, that the flat earth stands by itself. It's its own conspiracy. It's its own issue, and it shouldn't and can't be attached to anything else. And here's why: because ultimately, pretty soon, the worldwide media is going to grab a hold of this, and they're already working desperately to spin it the way they want to make us all look like crazy people, or terrorists, or wackos, or dissidents, or something. And, you know, by the way, hello from FEMA camp region number 4, okay? So we can't let them do that if we can help it. I mean, we've already watched this happen many, many other times in all the other movements. And so, hello, learn by experience. We should be able to keep that from happening this time, or at least somewhat. What do you say?
I totally agree. I think that this is a leaderless movement. It's basically about spreading knowledge and basically each individual empowering themselves, becoming aware of that. When once they start doing the research and seeing what is really out there, you know, you become more aware and more of who you are as a person on this earth, and what the earth really means, and what's been going on, and it's just basically that, just to keep spreading that knowledge so people learn more about themselves and more about their home, and start figuring out that maybe there is more to this than just that. And once we start empowering ourselves, the powers that be lose that power, because we've totally relinquished responsibility and accountability and said, here, you take care of it. You do it for us. And it's about time that we started stepping up and take that responsibility back and that accountability back. It's our responsibilities for all our actions. And it's in every individual's choice to do that. I mean, you don't need leaders to do that. You just need people to spread knowledge.
Hey, Simon, let me ask you something. Or, I mean, Daryl, let me ask you something. Were you a follower of the Occupy movement at all?
I watched them. I didn't join in them because things that get big like that tend to be controlled opposition.
Okay, so you can then agree with me that while you were sort of watching it, it started out with a bunch of people, you know, camping out in a park in New York City, and pretty soon it started breaking out all across the United States in different groups everywhere, right? And I'm feeding back somewhere. Must be Stars. Stars, can you mute your mic again for a minute?
Sure.
Okay, so now who is it? Jason?
Not me. Where's your mic?
I'm muted.
No, you're not. No, we wouldn't be able to hear you.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Up at the top of your screen, there's a microphone up there if you put your cursor up there. See it? There should be a mic and a camera.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, mute that for a minute and see,
All right.
see if that works. Okay, so back to Daryl. Okay, it's still there.
Is it muted?
No.
I have no idea what's going on here.
All right, you're getting feedback audio through your pickup mic. So whatever audio you're listening to, if you could turn your source down, you won't get feedback coming back into your mic.
I'll put headphones on.
Okay, just let me finish this thought. Okay, Daryl, back to Occupy, because I see a classic correlation going on here. Okay, it started out as this little, kind of little movement, and the media wasn't reporting on it very much, and the people were up in New York, and then it busted out into city after city after city across the country, and then pretty soon, and everything was peaceful, and people carrying signs and everything else, and then pretty soon, the black shirts showed up, right? And they started throwing Molotov cocktails, and they started busting a few windows, and then all of the protesters who weren't doing the violence all were going, no, that's not us. But by then, the media grabs a hold of something like that, and they put it all over the 6 o'clock news, and they scare everybody at home that, well, I'm not going to go out and protest, and I'm not going to get involved in that because there's terrorists in there, okay? So the same thing applies here, right?
Yeah, those are agent provocateurs, and this is what we're having right now. They're trying to divide us, and they actually kind of are. So we can't let that affect us. We just have to identify these problem people and get rid of them. I mean, we don't have to. I mean, don't take my words the wrong way. I don't mean violence. I just mean we just need to wash our hands of them.
Exactly. Disassociate from them. And I mean, a lot of the damage that they did is to themselves. It's pretty obvious.
Get closer to your mic. Antonio, get closer to your microphone.
Yeah, what I was saying was these characters that have come out, they're obviously agents that want to bring down the ship. They feel they have ownership or whatever it is, and all they can spew is hate. That's all they got. That's all they always will have. And they are burning. They're going down by themselves, and it's pretty obvious. Most people can see right through that. Most people.
Well, there's another issue that's going on too. That's very important to talk about, okay? I know that I'm on record and have been from the very beginning because I've been involved in political movements for a very long time. And that is the minute you start getting leaders, people who start following leaders, what happens right after that is you start having this cult and that cult and this cult. And then the leaders start fighting amongst each other to see who's going to be top dog leader. And then pretty soon the people that are following the leaders are all fighting amongst each other or against each other group, and to see who they can support to be the top leader. And then before you know it, the government comes in, or one of those little black ops agents comes in and blows their head off, and then you have a bunch of helter-skelter people running around with no leader, okay? So the objective should be in our movement. This time, we should finally learn from these mistakes, and we should make sure that we don't have any appointed leaders, that nobody tries to take the leadership role and smashes down any dissent or anybody else who's got something to say, and only look for consensus-building people who want to try to get all of the people to go in this direction and not behind that person or behind that person. So in your opinions from other movements and other things that you've seen and trying to define the goal we're all after, okay, it's not just about waking up to flat earth. I mean, if we don't do something with it, what good does it do, right? Correct.
I mean, the shape of the earth is one thing, but why did that shape become? And when I think about it, and when I start just putting the pieces together, the reasoning being there must be something more. There must be something more in order to create this image to basically say, no, this is it. This is what we got. But once you debunk that, you can start seeing that no, they're hiding something. There's more to this. Just basically the north and the south, what they call the poles. I mean, wow, you know, when you get on the flat Earth and you see that there is no poles, there is no south. And that the fact is that those two, whatever you want to call them, the center or the North Pole or the outer rim, the South Pole, they're heavily guarded by all these nations that are signed to a treaty that has been intact from the late 60s up to now, throughout all kinds of conflict. And basically these treaties keep people out of there. And they tell us, oh, it's uninhabitable, oh, it's the weather's extreme or whatever, but we have to take their word for it because no one in this population is able to go explore those places. I mean, I've been looking at these old maps.
Yeah.
Take off on this, man, because this is Antonio's right, but you're the go-to guy or one of the go-to guys on this Antarctica business. So jump on this.
He's hitting the nail on the head, and I also want to say this is an honor and privilege to be on your show.
It says in a show. First of all, this is not a show. This is a hangout of a get-together of people who care. That's all. Okay. No show.
But yeah, he's hitting the nail right on the head. I think that I mean, I actually just came from someplace this morning, and the maps are all wrong. They're all wrong. They're all messed up. When I first got into this thing, I thought there was an edge. I thought there was an edge. Now, you see, I got my little scientific lab coat on. Can you see that?
Right on. You're a scientist.
I'm a scientist now. See, here's the thing. We got to use their weapons against them, because they're always throwing these, 18-letter word jargon out. Well, let's use that against them, see how they like it.
Right?
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do here, and you and I have had phone conversations about this. So have I and Antonio about defining the goal of the movement. And I did this with Ashley the other day when we did our little hangout with the Urfer Girls Comedy Hour. Okay, there's the community of flat Earth people, the community. And then there's the goal, okay?
Right.
And the community needs to have the same goal, okay? And because otherwise all we really have is a community. And we always like, hey, how you doing? Let's have a picnic. When's the bonfire? Okay. But if we don't have a goal, then really what's the point, okay?
Right. You were in Occupy like we spoke about, and I was in Occupy. And, we've seen it splinter up. Like, I mean, Occupy really didn't have a focus, like you said. I think right now that's what their goal is, because they know they can't hold up the bull alive forever. It's just not going to happen. NASA has to do something big. They have to fake a Mars mission, right? Or they're going to have to just disband completely. That way they could post the blame on somebody else. Because if you look at the photos, now with modern technology, we all can scrutinize it. So, people in third world now are starting to get iPhones and everything else. So, it's going to be harder and harder for them to really, I mean, no matter how much CGI you have, the photos are always going to be fake. You're always going to find, there's always going to be a little mistake that's going to give it away. So they're going to have to fake a Mars mission, or time is up, man. It's been 50 years since they've been to the moon, supposedly. I don't know. I just think that there's more land, because when you look at the maps are completely off. And I'm finishing up a video right now on that, and it's just they're looking to splinter up the movement. this new paradigm that's coming out. They're looking to splinter it up. Like I was making, you know, when I first started my video, I was doing it as a hobby. It wasn't like something I was like, okay, I want to write a book. It was just a hobby. And, you know, I put out that video where I said there's an infinite plane, right? And that video got some backlash. But then I put out the dome video where I was talking about everything's inside of a dome. And now they're trying to divide it up where they're saying that if you believe it's a dome, you're wrong. If you believe that it's a plane, you're wrong. If you deny the Holocaust, right? You deny the Holocaust. Now, see, and that's another thing too. That would, I mean, this Eric Dubé, and I'm gonna have to say it. That's not the way to go about it, because once you break down the ball Earth theory, everything else goes down the trash. Everything goes down the trash. You don't have to point fingers at anybody, right? So the fact that you're saying that this thing is some sort of perpetuated, because that's another thing too. And Matt Boylan brought up a great point. He says that you know, because von Braun was supposedly a Nazi, right? So which one is it? Are you for NASA or against NASA? Because von Braun supposedly was this Nazi. So are they good or are they bad or what is it? You know, so it's just it doesn't belong in this conversation at all. Okay, at all. And, right, you know, that's how they're going to splitter it up. They're going to use, and that's just a great way for them to stage some fake attack. And I don't even like talking about it, but I mean, I got to put it out there and be honest. You know, if this thing gets out of here, they're not going to let the ball lie come down. They're not just going to let it be exposed without some resistance. It ain't going to happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Well, you see how they're coming out with article after article after article. You know, NASA's coming out with all of these. Their rockets are blowing up.
Yep.
You know, all kinds of stuff. It's ever since this started moving early this year, they've been picking it up with all of their little articles just to counter, and it's obvious that we are striking a nerve.
Right? Who pulled up the picture where Geranarism did his laser test, and then immediately they put out an article about the airplanes and the lasers? Who caught that? Somebody caught that.
I posted a post, but I think I just shared it from somewhere. I picked it up, started spreading that. Right. See, they'll use any tactic, because me personally, I don't know if what's at this so-called edge. I don't know if there's an edge, there's an ice wall, or a hologram wall, as Mark Sargent likes to talk about, or it just goes on forever. I really don't know. But whatever they're hiding, they're spending a whole lot of money on it. And they're just, well,
you know what, and there you are. To me, that sort of helps define the goal, because until we know the parameters where we live, and right, until we know, do we live in a prison planet with under a dome, you know, or is there more? Are there more ponds like ours out there beyond the ice? Can you go a couple hundred or a couple thousand miles out one of the sides of the edge of the flat Earth map and find another pond? Is that where Eden is? Is right, that where Atlantis is?
Right.
But until aren't we all equal here on this plane, to where, you know, who gets to decide that, oh, you don't really get to know what's over there because there's aliens over there, or there's bad guys over there, or you know, you'll fall off the edge? Well, you know what? Whatever happened to exploration in this world? Okay, used to be you could just get on a boat and you could just sail wherever you wanted, or you right, could, you know, get on a continent and just walk and walk and walk until you either got killed by an indigenous person or a bear, or right, or you fell down the mountain and you died, or whatever. Right. What happened to exploration? And don't tell me that everything's been explored already, okay?
Right.
Because one of the things, and I say this over and over, and I know I sound like a broken record, but one of the key abilities that the New World Order has, and let's all just put it out there that we're in it, there we are, okay, the globalists, one of the tools that they've used to keep us shut up, quiet, and non-exploring is what is called scarcity. There's only this much land. There's only this much water. There's only these many resources. There are only. And so, you know, we're in control. Don't you worry about it. We got this. We're the state. We're the nation states. And you know what? I was born into this. We all were born into this. We didn't vote for this. We didn't agree to this, did we?
Mm-mm. No, we didn't. You know, it's kind of like the analogy that I made is that it's kind of like if you were born in a prison and this prison had no windows and all you knew was this parameter of this prison. You had no concept of what's going on outside the prison. And, you know, some people in the prison mop floors. Some people, whose dog is that?
That's my dog.
Some people, you know, they're mopping floors. You know, some people are overseeing the other prisoners, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still in a prison. You really don't know how far this, if there's a firmament, we don't know how far it extends. You know, I want to know what's at the edge. I'm not buying it where they're just telling me, look, don't go past this little icy area. Mm-mm.
Well, okay, so right there is a reason for everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching, and everybody who watches this in the future. Get on your dang search engine and just type in Antarctic Treaty and read everything you can find out about it. And don't just read the Wikipedia page. Go put it in your search engine and search 5 pages down and learn about everything you could ever learn about the Antarctic Treaty. And I bet you didn't even know there was one unless you've become a member of the Flat Earth community, because we talk about it all the time. Is that just one aspect?
Right. No, not at all. I mean, it's not just the edge, it's the center too. I mean, that center is heavily guarded. I mean, they'll bomb you. You try to pass those lines with heavy ordnance. I mean,
it's got a no-fly zone over the Arctic center, magnetic north, right? There's a no-fly zone. There's a no-fly zone over Antarctica, right?
I got something.
Okay.
Also, not just the Antarctic Treaty, but people that challenge the treaty, like Andhoy Jarl. What's his name?
Yes.
Andhoy. Yeah.
Jarl Andhoy.
Jarl Andhoy. Yeah. Research that guy. He's attempted several times to go to Antarctica. Nearly died. A couple of his crew members died, and we don't know what happened to them. They say that they drowned, but they could have been shot. He went to jail and has been charged and fined a bunch of money just for attempting to go to Antarctica.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So one of the key issues here is, okay, we've already talked about 5 things, enough to keep everybody busy for the next 5 months, okay? Doing experiments about trying to find curvature, trying to find flatness, trying to measure curvature, doing things like researching all of these different aspects of things that you really actually need to learn all over again.
Who invented the ball?
Everything you know is wrong. Everything.
Everything.
Okay, so do we really have time for bashing religions and bashing organizations of cultural groups? Do we really have time for carrying all this baggage around? I mean, holy crap! It's just so ridiculous. Are we still like 10 years old and in grade school, or you know, are we adult people now who have lived entire lives? And we're carrying biggity, you know, Archie Bunker garbage into the party, into a brand new party, a brand new clean party. It's just like and all the dishes are in the sink now. All of the litter is everywhere, and the party now is all trashed and dirty because people are trying to bring all these issues in to the flat Earth that have nothing to do with it. And even if there is a specific group out there who you could literally take to court or before a UN council, whatever, and prove that they're the ones that created the ball and have been perpetuating the ball for how long? 500 years at least. Then that's a separate issue, okay?
It really is, and I just want to say this too, while it's still in my mind, is that this is a very prickly subject, so I really don't want to talk too much on it. But the deal is that the Jews supposedly are this shadow cabal that's controlling the world, right? Supposedly, isn't Neil deGrasse an atheist? I mean, because my thing is this. The people who, you can't just say it's one particular color, because Neil deGrasse is black, right? You can't, he's an atheist, right? So, what's this Jew thing about?
Well, we all know that, well,
he's not
listen.
an atheist, he's a Jesuit priest.
We all know.
Yeah.
Okay. We all know that
he says he's an atheist.
We have no idea who's at the top of the pyramid, do we?
Right.
We have no idea. That person or that group
it's not us.
That group of groups is not us, and it is so behind the Wizard of Oz curtain and they have layers and layers and layers of people who are insulating them from us ever finding out who they are. Okay, so at the end of the day, I don't have time to go on this big search across Oz to find the witch's broom and kill the witch and bring the broom back and then find out that some idiot is in charge of fooling me into believing that they were in charge. Okay?
Right.
What kind of paradox is that? So I don't want to waste my time on that, and I don't think anybody else should be wasting their time on that. What I think we should all be putting our time into and our effort into is ignoring those who can't focus. I don't know whether they're running around with ADD or just been eating pooping in their own post toasties for breakfast every morning. I don't know why they're so upset and angry and mad and crazy, but they're not helping us get to the goal, and all they're doing is dividing the community. So, you know what? You guys, go over there. I don't care what you talk about all day long, but you're not welcome in the community who's trying to get to the goal. You're not welcome.
Right. I mean, well put. That's it. I mean, it's like, keep it simple, like you said, and keep it focused. Okay? Focus on the globe. That's it. Don't go off on a tangent.
Poke a hole in the globe, people. That's all we're here to do. Just poke.
Poke. And the
all
thing
of us.
Yeah.
Hey, you're hitting on
Simon. Simon's here.
What's up, Simon?
What's up, Simon?
No.
Yeah, you're a little low though.
Let me turn you up.
Generator.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say, it fascinates me, is the way these people come out and they are avoiding solving the problem. They are avoiding the issue at hand that we're trying to focus on, and that alone is just, I mean, it's an awe-inspiring, fascinating piece of it that people say, well, what is the big issue here? Like, what would it matter? And then when you ask that question, you go, oh, that answer to that would affect a lot of people's lives. It could affect a lot of things that have happened in history. It could just change things for people. And obviously, if you're one of those people, you are not going to want to, lose your house, lose your credibility, lose your home. So, I mean, you can respect what these people are fighting for, but what we started out to do is to solve a scientific question and to fix something that has nothing to do with these other issues that keep getting thrown. And then you also, what I see is I see the propaganda bubbling up through people's emotions. And it's like, oh, you're now emotionally attached to what happened. Like, oh, what do you mean the earth is flat? That totally messes with my religion, is what they're telling you. Like, you just broke a thought process in my head that contradicts that, and now I'm mad at you, like, because you told me something that, why are you mad? You're mad because I just told you something that sort of sounds like truth to you, and now you're mad at me. It's like, don't hit the messenger, because I said, hey, look at the horizon in your picture, it's flat, and you're like, so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You see, what you have to do when you're thinking about what I want to say to get people to understand, there's a really fascinating thing is going through the process of figuring it out for yourself, and what your mind does when you go, oh, yeah, that fits with that, and that now that makes sense.
Just look at this.
Oh, ouch. Now I see why that guy thinks that, but I know why he's wrong also. And it's like, I feel bad because sometimes people are laughing at them, and it's like, come on, you guys, you know why he's confused. You know what he went through to be confused. And, you know, to really think, you have to step away from words. You have to take language out of the equation, which means you take away culture and people, and just go back to the raw energy, you know, the raw nature of numbers and what you're dealing with. We're the matter at the end of it too. We're part of the equation. So solving this is about understanding beyond the cultural extremes and coincidences of knowing. It's just saying, hey, you know, you tried to teach me this, but I don't quite agree with it, that was what happened, and neither does that guy or that guy or that guy or her. And these are all really smart people that are telling me this, that they're going, yeah, look at this evidence, and what do you think? And I'm like, you're right, and you seem really smart, and my math adds up. And then it's like, oh, sometimes I even understand it better than someone who showed me something. It's like, oh yeah, perspective. I went to college and studied perspective for you know, day after day. I had hours of sitting there trying to do assignments with this stuff. So someone's like, oh yeah, perspective. And I'm like, yeah, I totally get what you told me. You don't even have to say anymore. But then some people, you talk to them and they don't even understand that your eye, like this camera, is limited on how far it can see. Like, look at my room. Look how far away that doorknob is over there. See that doorknob? Whoa! It's like that thing must be 1,000,000 miles away. Like the size, if that thing, but it could be a star, right? Like there's a star, never moves, doesn't go anywhere, really tiny, but it's not 1,000,000 miles away, and it's not 1,000,000,000 light years across, and it's not 1,000,000 times the size of the Earth. Like, and if you're going to tell me that, show me why. Where did you get this idea that thing over there that's really tiny and never moves, or always moves exactly like this every day for thousands of years? How do you know it's giant, massive thing all of a sudden? Do you have this knowledge because, oh, we just found the root, the source? We go back to find the root of the knowledge, and then it unfolds. So, like, what did you guys find when you were on your search for this knowledge? Like, what things unfolded for you that you just went, wow, like,
I don't think I was like
that makes sense to me.
Everyone is different. Everyone has come to this in different ways. I mean, just look at the panel. We're all a variety. Most of you are saying that you guys were conspiracy theorists and everything. I was far from that. I never was into any of the conspiracies. I always laughed them off, just like the majority of the population and the majority of the people that come into these groups. I fell into it just researching other stuff that brought me into this fold. And when I came across it, I really was just like, I had heard of flat Earth in school. Like they show you that picture where you're falling over the edge, but and you just chalk it up as mythology or whatever. Just ancient cultures really weren't that smart. And the thing is once you try to debunk it or really start researching and see where it's coming from, it envelops you. It takes you in and you just devour it, and you keep. I mean, I just kept looking for more answers and more answers. Why this? Why that? I mean, and then a lot of times these people come into these groups all high and mighty, thinking that they know everything without even researching the other side. So I always say, research both sides. Everybody knows about the globe. We all were taught that. We have scientists. We got all kinds of people, mathematicians. We got everything in these groups, and it's
what's interesting?
It hits everybody.
I can't stand it. You said the one thing that just always blows my mind. The reason why we were taught in school that the flat Earth was the old story, and that it was stupid people, uneducated people, goat herders and chimney sweeps thought that the Earth was flat. I'm not a stupid person, and I see that it's flat because so that's part of the propaganda. If you believe the Earth is flat, then you're a stupid person.
Dumb. You must be dumb.
And you're just as stupid as a goat herder. I mean, I've been called a goat herder quite a few times now. I don't have a single solitary goat. So, I don't. So I don't even have a cat or a dog. And so I'm not hurting anything. The problem with that whole thing is that it's propaganda. Almost every single thing in our history of our own experiences of each of our lives is some form of propaganda or another. Every single thing. Religion, what we believe about religion. If you were born in South Africa, what religion would you be? If you were born on mainland China, what religion would you be? You would be the religion that they tell you to be, that your parents
Correct.
told you to be. Okay, and you would wear the clothing that your culture wore. And you would believe, in whatever mythology or cultural beliefs. You would eat the food that your culture has been eating for 500 years. And so, everybody around the world's like, ooh, American food, it's really awful. It sucks. Well, you're right. McDonald's sucks. But comparatively, what's interesting is in America, we can go down the street and we can eat Chinese, and we can eat Russian food, and we can eat Italian, all within our own little town. Okay. Now, a lot of places where people live, they would never taste that. They would never have that opportunity. So each of our cultures, if we woke up one morning, do you all ever see that movie where they had the guy who had the less than 24-hour memory loss? I don't remember what it's called, but every day he woke up, he couldn't remember anything from the day before.
Wait, was it a Tom Cruise movie?
No,
it was Memento.
Memento. Okay, there we go. Okay. Part of me, I swear, every day, I think, you know what? If everybody could just wake up tomorrow and nobody remembered diddly, then everything would reset and we'd have to start all over, and we'd have to create all new things to hate each other for, right? Because no one would know why you don't like that other person. And remember that guy in the movie? He had to make little tattoos on himself everywhere, a tattoo, so that he would know why he didn't like somebody, or he'd have a bunch of pictures in his pocket of photographs of Polaroids. Oh, this guy, and on the back side it would say, oh, I don't like this guy because he tried to rip me off. Okay, but he didn't remember that because he didn't remember that. So here we are bringing all of these. Yeah, so if everybody had amnesia tomorrow, we wouldn't remember why we had World War II or why we had, you know, marches to China or any of those things. We wouldn't remember.
But we are
What
in
would we
amnesia.
do?
Mankind has been forced amnesia on them. That's why we feel something is not right. Because, I mean, I read this book called Mankind in Amnesia by Immanuel Velikovsky, and right off the bat, he talks about how, you know, the concept of the world has been forced on us and created this amnesia. I mean, and then they create this whole his story, you know, of what things were and what,
Well,
what we're supposed to
remember
believe.
that every so many decades, this group or that group is like the bad guys, okay? You know, one time it's the Nazis, and then the next time it's the Muslims, and then, you know, and then it's the Jews, and then it's the, you know,
ISIS.
yeah, the Huns.
That didn't work, huh?
The Egyptians, the whatever. I mean, it keeps moving around. You know somebody's playing in this big Stratego game, right? They just keep like, well,
It's the Huns.
push this guy out here,
You need
push
to
this
go
guy out
to
here,
your
you know, because
abstract thought.
nobody will be able to have power over anybody else unless whoever that is up in that top of that pyramid, looking down on all of everybody, going, this is so hilarious.
Yeah.
He's the one that's moving the chessboard and saying, okay, now we're all going to hate this person or this group. Okay, nah, that's boring. We're tired of hating on them. So let's appoint these guys the ones we all hate.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned the Huns, and if you don't know about the Huns, is one of my friends did a lot of research on them, and he traced them all the way back to ancient Sumeria. The ancient kings were Huns, and they were also the Egyptians. They also were the Ottoman Empire. They ruled China. They ruled Japan. Basically, every major power in the world had Hun leadership. Basically, Sumerians. They feel that they have the right to rule over us, and this is.
But they're really spread out, though. I mean, you know, they obviously
they are everywhere.
They're everywhere in all cultures, and anybody can be. So that's why we got to.
But here we are again. We don't know who the guy is up in the tower at the top of the pyramid. That all-seeing eye guy. We don't know who he is. We don't know who they are. We don't know. Okay, and so here we are, and we could digress for the next 4 hours on, and then they did this, and then they did that, and then they made them do this, and then they made people slaves, and you know what? At the end of the day, what did we just solve? Nothing, because you know what? The future will not be found in the past. It's not back there. It's out there. Okay.
It's right now.
And that's what flat Earth means to me. Now I don't know what it means to anybody else, but it means the future. It means freedom. It means kicking the guy out of the tower up at the top of the pyramid. That's what it means to me.
It means bringing down the system, right? I mean, the system that's in place is a pyramid. It's a pyramid structure that has been in place from back in the Sumerian. It's all the way back as you want to trace it back, and it's done. It's a done system.
And who do you think they see? That's the problem. Everybody's like they did this, and they're doing it.
Okay? Well, whoever those powers are keeping us out of Antarctica, and they're keeping us out of the North Pole, and basically it's a small group. And once we realize that we are empowering ourselves and we don't need those groups, that topples down this pyramid structure. You know?
Hey, Simon says, you're on here. Why you got your microphone muted? And why don't you say something? Simon, can you hear me?
No. Okay. Would be nice to see that everyone is.
Can't hear you, dude.
Dang, can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right. it would be nice to sit here and think that people are seeking truth, and 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 which they are, but there's a big. You guys keep bringing up, this group, this unknown, unnameable uh, group that tries to hinder any type of truth seeking. So it would be nice to think that everyone's intentions are in fact to seek truth, but that's not the case. A great big majority of them are in fact cyborgs. They're not real people. They're robots. They're sitting there following orders from this group, and they're getting paid to do it. They spend trillions and trillions of dollars to fight us. They make these think tanks, and then they bring up all these lots of people together, and just how we're doing now. The difference is that they commercialize over it. They get together and they get paid to do it. So, I mean, it would be nice to sit there. I know that a lot of everyone's doing I think everyone's doing an awesome job, but um, some of us need to sit around and protect this realm. And I'm not gonna sit around and let these cyborgs come in and troll the groups. So I mean, I'm asking everyone to understand that I'm playing psychological games with these people. I'm destroying them. I'm destroying their morale. They're sitting in that cubicle laughing, and their supervisor is looking at them down the lane. Like, why is he laughing? He's not paid. He's finding their information amusing. So the supervisor comes and stands behind this cyborg, this paid troll, and they sit there and they start arguing with each other. That's what happens. They think it's fun. They start laughing. They start seeing the truth. I mean, this truth defends itself. There's no. I mean, it's lasers and this and that and copyright and this and make money here and there. And look out there, it's flat. It's that simple. We don't. It doesn't take. Look, we're fractions, and if every single person on Earth in this plane of existence takes pictures of the flat horizon, that proves it. That we don't gotta go to space. I took a flat picture. Everyone took a flat picture. There's no reason to be like, I mean, it gets complicated, and they know that. They want to come through our groups and through everyone's groups, and they get paid. It's easy to spot them because they're not supposed to laugh with us. They're not there to have a good time. They're there to get paid and to destroy our movement. It's that simple. Everyone carry on. Some of us are gonna sit there and fight these cyborgs and these trolls, and we're gonna destroy their morale. And they're gonna be sitting in those stupid buildings and in those stupid cubicles, looking at the supervisor. And the supervisor's bad knocking them back, and everyone's like, they're gonna go stand by the water container and drink some water. Hey, damn, did you see that? That's some really compelling stuff. They're falling apart inside there on their own.
Mm-hmm. They're coming to our side.
Some of us are there to do this. That's what we're here to do. I feel that I have gone out enough times and taken videos and pictures and compared maps and I've done all that. I'm 100% sure about this truth, and I'm gonna defend it. And some of us, that's our role to play. That's our position within this community, and I'm declaring myself as part of that defense. I'm gonna defend this. I'm gonna destroy their morale as much as possible. I'm gonna make them argue with their supervisors. I'm gonna make them all get fired. I don't care about their jobs. I don't care about, I mean. They have families. I gotta find a more righteous job because a lot of us are gonna destroy you. Straight up, man. If any cyborgs are watching right now.
Well, you know they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I want to nominate you for the Troll Basher champion of the movement.
Yeah.
And dude, lightsabers cross to you, and you go right on ahead. See, we all have a role to play in this community, and that's what we're all trying to do. And yes, there's haters, and there's people trying to divide, and there's people trying to troll, and there is an agency. I mean, it's simple. I can go and buy a software package that fell off a truck, where I can buy this app that I can have 50 logins to Facebook and have 50 different profiles, and then you know what? I can go and log in those 50 different profiles, and I can have conversations with myself in a thread. Oh, did you see what that bitch did? Oh, yeah, that bitch did this. Oh, damn, son. And, I'm all behind this guy. And I'm having conversations with myself all the way down. And then it gets into meme wars. Meme. I can out-meme you. Okay. And then what's happening? Everybody's like, oh, follow the memes. Because we're all follower culture. It's been crammed into our heads our whole lives. Follow. And instead of just going, yeah, shake it off, man. Go talk to somebody at the store about just walk up to the gas pump person and say, hey, have you heard of flat earth? I've done it. It's incredibly cool just to walk up to complete strangers. I did it at the Best Buy. I did it at the Barnes & Noble. I just went up and I go, hey, how many books do you have on, I went up to the little guy at the kiosk that has a little thing, where you look up books. And I said, yes, hi. My name's Lori. Thanks for helping me. I'm looking for some flat earth books. And of course he went, what? And I said, books on flat earth. How many you got? Well, I don't know. I never looked it up before. Well, let's get on it. So he starts, he's looking up flat earth. And he says, I'm sorry, we don't have any flat earth books in this store. I said, well, then you better get on it because there's millions of people waking up and they need flat earth books. Well, what kind of bookstore is this up in here? Okay, and the same thing. I went over to the Best Buy and I said, "Hello, my name's Lori. I need to buy some. I'm going to buy a telescope. I can't really decide whether I want to buy a telescope or a long-range telephoto lens for my camera, and might want to buy a DSLR camera because it's all that like megapixels and everything. So, well, what are you going to use it for? Are you going to look at the moon? Oh, hell no! I'm going to look at the flat Earth." Huh? And I said, I'm going to do some flat Earth experiments. And he says, what are you talking about? And I go, are you telling me you haven't heard of the flat Earth? I mean, are you the last guy? I mean, hey, cool, I found the last guy. That's awesome. And he said, no, actually, I heard about it years ago. We were talking about it at a party or something and laughing about it. And I said, well, it's no laughing matter because you better get some telescopes up in here. You don't even have any telescopes to sell. The Best Buy? You know how many million people want to buy telescopes right now? I mean, everybody's looking at everything. Get with it. You're losing millions of dollars.
What's
done.
Wow. Yeah, what's the funniest excuse, Lori, is when they say, because, I tell people, you can see the boats as they dip below the horizon. You get a telescope, you can zoom in and see them again. Right?
Right.
And you know what they say?
What happened to the curvature?
Right. You know what they say? They say gravity. Gravity bends the light so you can see the boat.
And this is where we go, oh, that's so cute.
Right. I mean, the science, if they actually stop and thought about what they actually believe in, it's Harry Potter stuff, man.
They don't know what they believe in because they're not trained to believe anything in school nowadays.
I believed all of that too.
Well, we all did because we were all trained in school.
Right.
The first thing you saw when you walked in the teacher's office or your classroom was there's the teacher's desk. Some bozo brown noser brought him an apple, so there's the apple, and then there's a globe, right? There's a globe. Okay, right. And then you look up on the ceiling of the classroom, and there's these orbs all thumbtacked with strings to the ceiling of the classroom, spinning around, by the air of the air conditioner, and you're like, whoa, this is serious stuff going on up in here. We're gonna have to learn, and from that day on, the programming starts. And then everything you ever learn is memory, remember this, remember that, remember, okay? And then you watch TV, and then you go to the movies, and then you have kids and buy a house. That's the world now.
Yeah.
So everybody has to learn everything new again.
And when you look up at the sky and you look at those dots, you don't see dots. Your mind sees planets and sees you orbiting them and sees you going around them and sees you seeing Captain Kirk and all these, and there's Copernicus, and there's a Newton flying around in a rocket right next to you, saying, "Hi, what's up?" Come on, man, knock that shit off.
Danger, danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Don't forget Buzz Aldrin too.
Buzz Aldrin.
He's up there too.
He'll sock you.
Third degree Freemason.
So see, here we are making fun and having fun, and this is what we're supposed to be doing while we're learning all about our new Earth, not screaming at each other and calling each other shills and making lists of shills and making accusations at one another and saying, well, if you don't believe in this, well, then you're no real truther. I mean, that's all there is to it. You call yourself a truther and you don't know this or you don't know that. Maybe I don't, but what difference does it make about the flat Earth? We're the flat Earth community, and we're going for a goal. We're not into that, and we're not into this. We had our chance with 9/11. It's been 15 years almost, and it's like that's not the place to. Why are we still sitting in that mud puddle? Let's move on, folks.
I don't know anyone that has seen, that you'll talk to about 9/11 and where they'll be like, it wasn't the government. Now it's common. It was the government. Yeah, we know. And then everyone just shrugs it off. It's like,
so what? Did anybody ever go to court over it? No. Did anybody sitting in jail? No. Has anybody ever been arrested? No. Get off that. It's time to really get off that. It's not happening anymore. Yes, maybe some people died, maybe they didn't. Depends on what theory you believe in. But at the end of the day, what has it got to do with the flat Earth? What?
Right. The only connection that I see with flat Earth and 9/11 would be to hide the flights. Because when I looked at the connection between the flights and 9/11, prior to 9/11, people were really starting to question where these planes were going. So that's what I looked. I don't know if there's any real connection there, but it definitely seems plausible.
Well, we already know. I mean, how many of us have watched all the videos and looked and gone and looked ourselves to see no, I'm talking about flights right now. Okay.
Right.
How many of us have watched the video where they go, oh, well, there's no flights that go from here to here because, we got this round Earth and it's faster to go that way. But on the globe, it goes, and then it comes to where they're going. Okay. And so, we're already getting that. We're already seeing that. And so it's all screwed up. But
they disappear on the radar. They go on the radar and they disappear. Then they pop up on the other side. Like why isn't there why can't the radar catch the full flight? Why are they hiding that? Because radar should be able to reach out that far. Since I think since the early 1900s they've been sending signals across the Atlantic. Marconi did it in 1901 and it's been replicated ever since. So there should be no reason why a flight's going across on the radar and then it's removed.
Right.
Then
you do know also too that the radar won't work on a globe because the signal would have to curve. Okay? So the radar wouldn't even work on a globe. So their whole radar system kind of gives it away. But
that's actually stars. That's what HARP wouldn't work. HARP wouldn't work on a globe either.
Yeah.
Was learning about Tesla and Planck and gravity and then putting it together and you're like, well, if gravity is not real and this is how magnets look and this is holy wow, this is so maybe that's the flatness of the compass and it just all made sense and that's how it came together and it came through everyone was shooting ideas left and right. Everyone's just grabbing them and putting them and wait a minute. And, I mean, they make fun of us. They got the right angle and the compass and then the big G imposing upon the curvature that you would be measuring with the right angle. And I'm like, what? I learned all this in AutoCAD. I learned all this in ITP. Like I learned all that, and so all of a sudden it slapped me in the face. That's when I came across other flat earthers. I don't know. I've heard all kinds of other theories now. Just recently, everyone has great ideas, and I'm not saying that there should be just one alpha
theory.
theory. They'll shut us down like that. That's what they want. They want one theory that they can attack, because that's how this works. All of this is based on contracting. You got clauses that you have to work out when you're doing contracting specs and all that. So if you can find the clause in the contract, you can find your way out of that contract. We all know about admiralty law and common law, and that's what this is. This is a contract, our social security number, and all of that comes back to globalism. Because globalism is, in fact, against the flat Earth, and we do see the agenda of globalism is total domination.
Globalism is the agenda is scarcity. So that way, they're controlling. They make land scarce. They make food scarce. They make all the commodities. Whatever.
Controlling the market. You create scarcity, control the market.
I wanted to say
and so at the end of the day, what it all comes back to is money. Is siphoning money up out of like a giant vacuum cleaner out of all of everybody on the globe.
Population.
Yeah.
And
they don't need the money though. They created the money.
Scams and systems and methods to suck more money until all of us are like living in Hunger Games. And I don't know about you, I'd probably do well because my grandpa taught me all kinds of like ways to survive in the wilderness and what bark to eat and all. I don't know why. At the time, I thought it was like really crazy. But he taught me how to use a compass. He taught me how to survive through the night in the woods and all kinds of things. And now I look back and I go, dang, that was awesome. I should have been paying more attention, but I was paying attention to globes and 10 times 27 equals 270 or whatever. Oh, I hope that's right because I can't do math. I just pulled that out of my head. So, but in reality, the globe represents even so much more, okay? The globe represents evolution versus creation. The globe represents isolationism, flying through the air with the greatest of ease, and it represents aliens. It represents all kinds of other things that allows them to write the script the way they want to control the way the game's played. Okay, and I never gave them permission. Did you?
The question that it brings up about, well, why would they do that? As soon as you ask that question, it begs the answer. Like the answer is right there. It's like, oh, this is why they would do that, and that's why they would teach me that, and that's why they're trying to program people to believe this. And it's, well, like, how do you charge people for electricity if everybody learns how to do it in kindergarten and understands how to make it themselves and can go home and do it in your own room? You can't charge people you can't sell them electricity anymore if I can do it in my house, in my room, by myself, because I learned it in first grade.
Well, I learned art. Okay, I'm an artist. That's how I learned to understand perspective. That's how easy it was for me to understand the horizon line and why I can't see beyond my own perspective and why my vision, my natural human vision, is the equivalent of looking through a pyramid with the bottom removed, out the hole at the top, tiny little hole. That's how we look through a pyramid, and the bottom goes to a perspective, to a vanishing point, and that vanishing point, they all know because they understand like all this occult and esoteric information. They understand that the same thing can be equated to curvature. You're seeing, like, you look out at the water and you look out at the sky coming together on the horizon out there. And are you doing acrobats, Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay. You look out over the water at the horizon line, and stars has been doing a lot of videos about this, okay? So I'm standing on the shore and I'm looking out at the water, and the water is a freaking straight line. Everybody can see it. Everybody's always been able to see that, okay? And then you go, well, but that's the curve. That's actually, I can't see beyond that because that's the curve. No, it's not. Because if you get a telescope out and you look through it, which is actually just magnifying your ability to see further, you're still looking through a pyramid, okay? You're still looking through that, but you can just do it farther, okay? And now all of a sudden I can see farther to the horizon line, but even then it still falls off and it's still, you know, a horizon line. Well, you know what? Go look up the word convergence. Understand what the word convergence means. It's because you have two different things coming together. You have sky and you have water, okay? And it's where they meet, and that's a line, and that's convergence. If you look up at the sky, you lay down on your back with a telescope, hell, man, you can see Jupiter and Mars and all kinds of stuff up there, right? How come you can see so far through with a telescope looking at the sky? Because it's all one element. There's no convergence, right?
Right, and I get asked the question all the time about the sun and why doesn't the sun shrink when it's coming down the horizon? And the thing is because the sun is so large. The sun is so large. Like, you wouldn't see an airplane like sink below the horizon. The airplane, once it gets out of view, it's going to be it's just going to shrink. But the sun is really pretty. It's not as big as they tell us, but you know.
But the sun is getting lost in the convergence.
Right.
Okay, the bottom of the half of the sun that's in the level of the water, and the top half of the sun that's in the air. You can still see the air part, but you can't see the part that's below the line of convergence in the water.
Right.
So it's really not like some big mathematical equation. I mean, yeah, you could sit there and write over 15 feet of chalkboard, and it's just, I just always think those are so fascinating looking. They look like an art project to me. But I'm an artist, okay? So I was trained in perspective. And in order to copy something, in order to, draw it, just like you did with the vanishing point, you have to understand what perspective means. And when I started going out in the real world and looking at it with the eyes of a flat earther instead of a baller, I was like, dang, why didn't that dawn on me before? Well, it always did, but I didn't question it because then you're crazy, you're stupid, and you might as well be a goat herder.
Yeah. It's just so many clues, Lori. I mean, you guys already know it. The clues are overwhelming. I went to the observatory. I don't know if you guys actually saw that video, but when I was up there, I watched the guy set it up. I watched him turn it on, and he didn't even put the coordinates for Jupiter or Pluto. He just wheeled this thing around until it was aiming at Jupiter. Now, if the Earth is spinning so fast at 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, how is this thing able to turn? Because the whole dome would have to turn, right? And each planet is traveling at different speeds. I mean, it's just obvious.
Score, dude. Score. Good score. See, that's all you have to do is use some logic.
Yeah.
Just logic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the moon is rising up. And how come every time you look at a globe, Antarctica's always at the bottom? I mean, how come they just can't flip it upside down and then Antarctica's at the top? Why is it always upside down at the bottom and then the North Pole's at the top? I mean, if there's no... Yeah.
Because it's programming. It's repetition.
Mm-hmm.
It's programming. Okay, that's how you do it. You have to keep giving people the same images over and over and the same repeated thoughts. And it's the same thing they've been doing with geopolitics, for example. Okay, ISIS, terrorism. Everybody's scared to death. Jade Helm, every day, over and over. Until you don't have time, you can't think about anything else. All you want to do is just go turn on the TV and watch sports or watch Dancing with the Stars and just, oh man, I got to forget about it. I got to eat some Cheetos and drink some juicy juice and just forget about it. Okay, and so what we're trying to do is we're really trying to break down that programming, and that's really hard. And I don't know what broke mine down, I don't know if there's like a little tooth fairy, a little flat earth fairy that goes around person after person every night, flipping their flat earth switch on to where all of a sudden the next morning they wake up and they're like, damn, I can see the flat earth now. I couldn't see it yesterday. Couldn't see it last week.
One of the things that is important for people that don't know, don't believe in the flat earth, or are still on the fence, or just think that the earth is a globe and they don't even care, is that we're not here to convince you. You have to convince yourself and do research yourself to learn that the earth is flat. You can't be convinced. You have to convince yourself. It doesn't work that way. I get these people that come in my group and say, convince me the earth is flat, and then they troll you. Or they want me to, and then you answer their question, and then they have another question, and another question, and another question. It's like, go do some research, dude, because I'm not gonna spoon feed you. And a new form of trolling I've noticed is whining. They whine.
The whiners.
Oh, your
and
feelings.
You know what? There's
my feelings.
There's so many more guy whiners than girl whiners, and I'm so mystified by that. I thought all the women were supposed to be the whiners. You didn't get me this. I didn't
Lori, I find that women can accept the flat earth better than men. So I don't know what's up with that. Huh?
It's faster. It's an intuition thing. Because we live in our emotions in our gut and not as much in our head.
Yeah.
That's why.
And I think the guys, we got this ego problem where we need to be like the smartest, and women just
no one wants to admit they got punked. Okay?
Exactly.
I mean, I admit, y'all punked me. I was punked for a long time. Damn you to hell, you punked me. But you know what? You're not punking me anymore. And you know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to punk you back.
Exactly.
So you know what? So what? We all got punked. Everybody got punked. Except for Shill Boy. I'm sorry, I have to do it. I have to. Shill Boy, Aaron Dubay. He broke his punk real early, and y'all are slow because I was like the first unpunked person out there. So sorry, Shill Boy, you weren't. But it doesn't matter, does it now? Because a whole bunch of us are waking up, and if you're still stuck on the punking, then you need to get off that because that's not helping anything. So I'm done with that now.
He did it to himself.
I'm the only girl here, so I that was my one.
Yeah, I think they have a whole call center where it's like a whole bunch of desks, and they, the people, they clock in 8 o'clock in the morning and they clock out at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and their job all day is to just spam social media, spam YouTube with troll comments and setting up phony websites, and NASA has the money to do it. NASA has the money to do it.
Oh, not only NASA, but think about there's all kinds of black budgets in the military and the above top secret groups in this country, I think, almost outnumber the people. Really.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Ashley's here.
Two girls.
Hey, what's
Ashley.
up?
There's Ashley.
Hi, everybody.
What's up?
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
What's up, Ash?
Hi. How y'all doing?
Good.
We're
How you
awesome.
doing?
Collectively and community-wide, we're awesome because we don't have any trolls or anything up in here right now. We're just
That's right.
See, I get a kick out of annoying the hell out of NASA. That's why I wake up in the morning. I wake up in the morning just to piss NASA off.
That's a good goal. See, that's a good goal. I like that. We need to put that in our new constitution. We need to write our Declaration of Independence for Flat Earth. Just go ahead and spend the rest of your days punking on NASA.
Hey, Stars.
Yeah.
I liked your video, dude. The planets aren't real one.
Yeah.
The newer one. You were at the dinosaur place and going, oh wow! I heard your sarcasm. It was so funny.
You know, and the funny thing is, these Neanderthals, these dinosaur bones, there's none. They don't have any real ones. And as a kid, when I was going in there, I used to look at T-Rex and think that was actually T-Rex. You know.
That's awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what about the Neanderthals is that they found out that they weren't actually a different species of humans. They were inbreds because they didn't have very far to fall from the tree where they were, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, come to Florida. We got a whole bunch of inbreds down here.
oh, yeah.
That's why we call it Florida.
Yeah.
Ashley, what have you been up to? Say a few words. Tell us what you think about. We've been all over the place talking about trolls, shills, baggage, goals, community. I think we've covered almost everything. So, like, if this thing died right now, I think it would. I would say it was a really great opportunity. But tell us what you've been working on, and what should be happening with the Flat Earth community.
What I've been working on is megalithic structures still, and putting a lot of intensive research into that right now, with all the ancient temples and structures and things like that, and trying to place them on a map that's big enough to actually see it. Because those littler maps that I was making, it's really hard to see the pattern.
Cool.
See
if Ashley, see how smart Ashley is? She loves working on these things like this, but every day she has to get distracted by trolls, shills, shill lists, name calling, baggage, more baggage, and baggage after that. And that really sucks because Ashley's like a huge researcher, aren't you, Ashley?
I love it. Yeah. Lately, I've just been ignoring it and turning off my phone.
Yeah.
I have to.
Talk about turn off your phone. What's up with Mark Sargent see, I don't put my phone number out there. I don't want to get calls 3 in the morning about some flat earth stuff. When I go to sleep, I'm asleep.
Right?
So why
would phone number is a call center and everybody knows it, okay?
Yeah.
He's like there's like 20 Mark Sargent clones or something, I think. And they're all manning different times on the phone.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, who does that? You don't even want the freaking telemarketers to call you.
Exactly.
Why in the hell would you want a bunch of bozo flat earthers call, or shills or ballers or any of those? Why would you want that? That's stupid.
Exactly. But then he turns off the comment section, so you can't comment on his videos. I'm not buying it. When I saw that, I knew right away. I said, this ain't right. This ain't right at all.
Well, listen, and that's another part of the deal, okay? And we need to discuss that, okay? All of us have our time that we've done researching, and we've listened to everybody. There's 175,000 videos on YouTube right now. If you just put in flat Earth, just those two search words on YouTube, okay? 175,000. You couldn't watch them all, you'd be dead. Okay.
Wow.
So now everybody's like, "Ooh, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my channel." Well, you know what happens? You get your Gmail inbox bombed with everything. Oh, and so-and-so's following, and another video, and you're like, really? God, it's like delete. I'm so over this. Okay. So then you unsubscribe, except to the really important people. Well, that's what they know. So they need to be one of the only important people that you're still subscribed to, so that you don't get inundated with 175,000 more videos. So here's what's happening. It's like ego war, right? Oh, I get my channel. Oh, no, my channel's better. Oh, no, I'm talking about, oh, you stole my stuff and you just re-uploaded that shit and read whatever, and you didn't even put my name on it, okay? And I watched the entire video the other day of Shill Boys, who was nothing but my perspectives videos, captures out of all of his videos, recompiled and re-uploaded to the internet. And this is mine. That's right. I got the best videos. Well, here's the deal, okay? Everybody's got their own idea of, after watching and looking and thinking and reading blogs and everything else, about what they think the flat Earth is, or what they'd really like it to be. You know, you have the opportunity, if you have a good imagination, to come up with your own utopian version of what you'd like flat Earth to be. See, now, like me, for example, I want there to be more, and I want there to be more ponds out there, and I want there to be, you know, like, let's have railways going back and forth between, you know, your pond and that pond over there and this pond over here, and then we can end up finally having the bar scene in Star Wars. Finally, okay? Yeah. Because maybe that they got like 6 heads or something. I don't know. But so at the end of the day, then you got this other person who's got the, you know, Truman Show dome over the top, and there's walls come down the side, and there's stop, and there's probably a door, you know, that goes to somewhere. Like he banged his ship into the thing, and, you know, the guys are up in the moon in the control tower of the show, right? Mm-hmm. So, but you know what? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Or that's what the goal is.
That's the goal.
That's why the goal's there, is so that we can explore and know what we define it.
And you know, if there is a glass dome, then I think we should go look. Why can't we take a look at this dome that exists?
Yeah, I mean, wave to God. Hey, sup now. But what about my prayer?
If there was a dome and it was impenetrable, right, and it's nothing but it's an ice desert where you're just gonna die, then why are there laws preventing us from going there? Right. Why that they try to keep secret? So it's kind of like you're telling your kids, hey, don't go in that room over there. If you go in that room, I'm gonna spank you. So why are there laws if we're just all gonna die in the cold? They don't really care about us like that. If you're dumb enough to go.
Yeah, we're all natural explorers, aren't we? What is the first thing we do when we learn how to crawl and they let us out of that playpen thing or that swingy swing thing that we're strapped to in the doorway? Okay, what's the first thing we do? Man, we go booking down the hallway, or we go stick our finger in a light socket or whatever, because we're exploring, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Not anymore. You don't get to explore.
Yeah. And imagination is bad. If you're sitting there and daydreaming, you have a mental issue and you need some pills, so you could be zombied out, because that's unacceptable. You can't have free thought. You can't have free thought, because they'll try and
no.
It's not daydreaming anymore. It's called it's ADHD or whatever, or attention deficit or whatever. Yeah, they'll put some name on it just so they can sell a drug to someone.
And you need to be in a special class.
I mean, that's a long kids. I mean, okay, so a child has so much life ahead of them still. That's a good customer. That's a long-term customer on pills.
Yeah. And about the dome is that, I don't know if you guys know about the von Karman Institute. And the Karman line is supposed to be where space, the line of space is to the atmosphere. So then you have the Karman line. I mean, it's not a real thing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they have this thing. And the same Karman Institute, one of their scientists came up with a theory called dark fluid. And they think that's what space is made of. And it's a super viscous electromagnetic superfluid that when you try to push into it, it pushes back 2 times harder. So imagine a spacecraft going 17,000 miles an hour hitting that thing. It's just going to break apart. And if you look at NASA's videos, or not NASA's videos, but like amateur videos of people from planes watching these launches, you'll see that the spacecraft will go up and then level out, because there's a ceiling up there.
Right.
There really is.
Well, and define that ceiling. That's the other thing. Is the ceiling, you know, the biblical version of what is called the firmament, and what is that made out of? Is it made out of glass? Is it made out of rocks? Is it made out of density, electromagnetic energy, radiation? We don't know. We don't know because we've been lied to. That we've been zooming back and forth.
They're hinting though.
Out there
they're hinting at it.
They're hinting at it.
They're hinting at it though. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, Thomas, explain this fluid stuff. The theory.
Okay, yeah. I see where you're going with this. So, right, there's
the water's above. The water's above.
Right, exactly. Yeah. They and another thing too, when you see those rockets start to hurt, I mean, all that NASA rocket is a airplane with NASA spray painted on the side. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just an airplane with NASA spray painted on the side. Because if you look at it, why does this thing have wings if it's going out into space? And they claim that it's supposed to have wings.
Are you talking about the shuttle?
The shuttle.
Okay.
I mean,
you know that's why they gave that up, because we all went, no, we don't think so.
Yeah, it's intakes.
Wait.
Space is easy to debunk. That one's easy to debunk, real easy. With the no thrust and all that, it's real. It's actually really funny. People just need to accept that a lot of things are science fiction, and we come back to consent, and you know you're watching television, and you want to consent, and accept that as a reality of some sort, and that's you giving up your intelligence, pretty much. You're giving it away. You're allowing yourself to believe something that's on television. We all grew up as kids. They were like, don't be by the television too long because it'll mess up your mind. And the same people that were telling us are the main ones defending the television. They're the ones talking about the news, CNN, and you're trying to talk to your elders, and they're like, no, it's news, so it's real. And you have to explain to every generation was different. You have the news at one time did have freedom and liberty for journalism, and that's not the case anymore. All news outlets are pretty much repeating something from somewhere. They just put a little different spin on it, kind of like what we're doing. We have the flat Earth theory, and everyone has their own little spin to it. And so we have to combat them the same way they're doing with us. There's propaganda techniques that they follow. They're effective. Their protocols.
Of course they're effective. They've sold billions and trillions of dollars worth of products using those repeat propaganda. It's called branding. It's called marketing. It's called public relations. And so that's why we can't let all these distractions by these individuals and these individual beliefs detract from the flat earth movement and the flat earth community and pit us against one another. Because look, we all what do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people right here on this thing, and we haven't gotten in one single argument yet. We haven't talked about any religions. We haven't talked about any cultural differences. We haven't talked about anything because we're all so fascinated with flat earth. And so I believe that's what 99% of the people out there are like. I see it in the groups. Our group, for example, like we have 3 different groups right here, okay, represented. We have stars with what's the name of your group?
Hidden Continent.
Hidden Continent.
Yeah.
Okay. The name of my group, me and Ashley, we're co-adminning this group called FlatEarthConspiracy.com, and then another one called the Flat Earth Conspiracy, and then one called Free Our Flat Earth, and then we have an experiment group. I mean, we're busy, okay?
Oh.
And then you guys have Flat Earth versus Sphere Earth, and you have one of the largest numbers, if not now the largest number of people. But you have both. You have people who believe in Flat Earth, and you have what we call ballers or globe heads or whatever you want to call them, dumbasses. But anyway, okay. So here we all are all together, and And we're not arguing about ignorant philosophy from the past. We're intrigued and interested in, and so here, the group that Ashley and I are working on, the FlatEarthConspiracy.com group, is really no shills, no trolls, no ballers. It's just flat Earth people. And the reason why we were really adamant about keeping it that way is so that we can feel it's a closed group, so that we can feel like we can have a safe place without being attacked to converse and talk and throw down some research stuff, and it's a really calm place. And every once in a while somebody will say, well, in Hebrews 12 or in Galatians 9:16, I don't even know if there is such a thing, but whatever. Then they'll start talking about something like that, and then the next thing no, my